Colonel Abara Rtd. You're welcome to Njenje Media TV.
Thank you very much.
As the head of security for the Labour Party, people have been asking, what does the Labour Party hold in stock as it concerns security for Nigeria? Are you able to distill the manifesto of your principal, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, to the Nigerian public so that they will be able to understand his plans regarding security when he wins the election in a couple of days' time?
Thank you. Peter Obi is the only candidate that has taken the national security very, very seriously. It is in his manifesto, the first word there is to secure Nigeria and to end permanently insecurity, banditry, kidnapping, terrorism, and insurgency. Those were the first lines, and that shows the priority he has for national security. This election is about the security of Nigeria. It is about the security of Nigerian people. For 7 years plus, we have been slaughtered in our own country. Blood is flowing. Indigenous people have been evicted from their villages. They are living in refugee camps in their country. Peter Obi has come up to say, I will secure this country. And I've moved around with him in all his campaigns across the country. He is the only candidate who has security covenant with the Nigerian people. And this security covenant is composed in 3 words, in 3 sentences rather. Number 1, he says, each time he goes for campaign and picks the microphone, the first thing he does is to assure the Nigerians, give them their commitment in 3 sentences. Number 1, he says, I and Dati will protect you. I and Dati will secure this land. Hold us responsible if we don't. Those are the 3 sentences that make up the security covenant of Peter Obi and the Nigerian people. And they believe him. And why does he say he will end up insecurity in this country? Why does he say he will end up banditry, terrorism, and insurgency? What gives him the confidence? It is all embedded in his manifesto. First of all, he has realized that the national security architecture can no longer protect the Nigerian state. So he is moving for a new national security architecture. I'll come to that. The second thing that made him very confident about securing Nigeria is his quest for moving from consumption to production through export economy. And those that are going to be involved are the Nigerian people. The third one is that he says he's going to leapfrog Nigeria into the 4th industrial revolution. The 5th one is to enhance the human capital development of the Nigerian youths. And number 5, he says he will conduct Afrocentric diplomacy to protect Nigerians and the Nigerian state. And I'll take them one by one. Let us start with the national security architecture. Before now, what we inherited as national security architecture was from the colonial masters. You can imagine when a policeman is trained to defend the Nigerian state with a baton in this 21st century, that tells you that that arrangement, that security framework has expired. So then the Nigerian security architecture has expired. It's no longer responsive to the threats of the 21st century. It's not responsive to the threats that we face today. And that is why the security agencies all the gamut of national security has failed the Nigerian people. And that's why it needs to be changed. Let me go further to let you know that this national security architecture, made up of the defense, the security community, the intelligence community, the internal security agencies, and the judiciary. These four make up the bulwark of the national security. They've all expired. Let me take the defense, for example. When you train, equip, and organize to fight state versus state warfare, only for you to be confronted by state versus non-state actors, you will never do anything because you're not equipped, you're not trained, you're not organized to fight that kind of threat. It's like a student who prepared very well for WAEC, only to be served with some paper written in French and mandated to answer in French. That student is not equipped, is not organized, is not trained to write in French. And that is what the Nigerian security architecture has confronted. They are not trained, they are not organized, they are not equipped to fight these violent non-state actors. I'll give you an example. It took ISWAP 21 days plus to defeat Boko Haram that will be fighting for 15 years. 21 days. They defeated Boko Haram, took their wives, took their territory. That is non-state versus non-state. So what P2B is saying, this national security architecture will be changed. It is based on that I will secure Nigeria. And it has to be upgraded so that they can be able to fight non-state actors. Initially, the threats we envisaged were from air, land, and sea. But today, we have threats from the cyberspace. We have threats from violent non-state actors. So what do? We have to upgrade to the 21st century threats. We have to have a new national security architecture that is well blended together to include the cyberspace, take care of the violent non-state actors, and at the same time, composite enough to fight state versus state warfare. That is where P2B is moving. And with that, I was happy that he captured it. So this national security architecture, the new one under his presidency, if he comes to power, is being crafted as I speak, bringing everything together. Another thing that has given me the confidence is that he says that national security components have been operating in silos. And when you picture the position of silos, you have the silos for rice, silos for beans, silos for that. And that is how our national security architecture has been operating. The police is operating differently from the army. The army is operating differently from the Air Force. There was a time the Air Force and the army were not in talking terms. They were not operating together. P2B says the new national security architecture will be different. It will be integrated. It will be coordinated. It will be harmonized and synchronized to produce one product known as national security. Based on that, I'm sure P2B is right to say he will secure this country because a new framework is coming up that will take care of all the threats of the 21st century. And this is 21st century. Every training, every organization of our security architecture will reflect the information age. I go to the next one. That gives him the confidence to say, I will secure Nigeria. He says he will move the country from consumption to production economy, driven by agrarian revolution. This is one of the most important cardinal points of his manifesto. When you are moving a country from consumption to production, what does that mean? You are going to use the vehicle of agrarian revolution to usher in this production. And I'm sure he knows, and everyone knows, that the The downstream industry that will come out of agrarian revolution will absorb, will give jobs to our teeming youth. And that is what I have seen that made them to follow him. You can imagine the byproducts of cassava alone. We can have about 3, 4, 5 industries out of that. The youths are beginning to see themselves as the owners of industries, small scale, medium scale, and all that. Even the owners of production in Nigeria are beginning to see themselves as exporters who will earn foreign money from their efforts. So that is why you can see the huge followership of P2B and P2B's confidence in saying that I will secure this land, I will secure you. By the time you move from consumption to production, people who produce will make money. They will be happy to see a future. They will be sure that their future is certain. The next thing that makes him feel that, have the confidence that he can secure this country is that he says, I'm going to leapfrog. That word is very, very powerful. I'm going to leapfrog Nigeria into the 4th industrial revolution through application of scientific and technological innovations to create a digital economy. This is marvelous. If you look at the digital economy, it's so vast that even most of our youth, 80% of our youth will be employed if that is done. I'm very, very happy with that part of the manifesto. And the 4th one, it says, I will enhance the human capital development of the Nigerian youths. Come on. You cannot be just a human being, but before you become a human capital, you'll be transformed into a human resource through training and giving you the requisite skills to produce. And when the human capital is developed, you develop ideas that change the world. He's promising the youths, and that is what is making the youths crazy about this man. I will transform you into a human capital, that you bring out ideas that will change the world. I will transform you and give you skills that will make you produce services and production and products. These products will give you money. You don't need to carry guns. Just join me in building this nation. I will transform you from a human being to a human capital that will generate ideas, you generate wealth, you generate products and services. The youths, in particular, are very, very crazy about this. They cannot wait for this to happen. And lastly, he says, I'll conduct Afrocentric diplomacy to protect the Nigerian state and the Nigerian citizens. Afrocentric diplomacy to protect the Nigerian state. Nigerian state is very, very important. This country is one of the powerful countries in Africa. And for years now, Nigeria has become a laughingstock. But with P2B's assurances of Afrocentric diplomacy, Nigeria is going to bounce back to become a regional power. They'll be able to protect its territory, protect its citizens, and protect everything in Nigeria's interest. So I am very, very sure that with all these that P2B has said, that Nigeria will be secured. I am sure he will end banditry.
Thank you very much for outlining what I would tag the 5-point security agenda of Labour Party. One would then wonder, in outlining and in explaining these 5-point security agenda, I would want that you add meat to the bone as regards to the plans regarding insecurity, or the, as you in the security sector would say, the kinetic and non-kinetic, vis-a-vis violent agitators, Boko Haram, and bandits. What are those things that he will do within these strategy or manifesto to ensure that these things die down?
Like I've outlined, He has programs that will move the male populations being used for these insecurity into production use. Now, the armed forces will be rebuilt because there is a new security architecture. It will have the reflections of the information age which we are. For the bandits, terrorists, agitators, and all the violent non-state actors, I know P2B as a father and as a human capital developer will want to talk to them to see reasons why they should join him in nation building. Of course, he has what we call a buffet type of approach. Everything is on the table. We talk, let them realize that what they're doing is destroying the country. His own generation have lived their lives. He is coming out to give these young men a future by letting them be part of the nation building, to exchange guns for skills, to exchange guns for owning industries. Then if that fails, other options are on the table. And he says, I will end this insecurity as quickly as possible. And I've seen his roadmap. We have discussed it. I don't want to discuss the roadmap without his permission. But I am sure within the first 100 days of his presidency, all these issues will be died down. Because there will be a lot of mix, both kinetic and not kinetic, to end this insurgency as quickly as possible. His priority is to open the roads, to allow businessmen and Nigerians to travel freely across the country to do their businesses and feed their families. His other motive is to clear the bushes, to ensure that farmers go into the farms, do their farming, and then feed their families and feed Nigerians. This will be done as quickly as possible within the first 100 days of his office. Every plan is ready. It has been discussed. We're only waiting for him to be declared the winner, and then we'll move forward. So insurgency, terrorism, insecurity will end. But let me just warn, whoever does not want to be part of nation building will regret, confronting the government of Obi, because everything is on the table. All options are on the table.
Regarding the election day proper, the election processes, do you have the confidence that INEC has put everything in place to ensure a hitch-free 2023 election?
Now, I'm sure that P2B will win based on what I have seen across the country, based on the responses from the Nigerian people. The only thing that will not make him to win will perhaps be from INEC. I'm not doubting the integrity of the INEC. I'm not doubting the integrity of Professor Mahmoud. But the presence of BIVAS, a machine that is made up of the hardware and the software put together, and the software is written in computer language, coupled together to become a machine called BIVAS that will conduct this election, gives me a lot of doubt about how the result will be. And let me explain. BIVAS is a machine that will operate in the cyberspace. Anything that is in the cyberspace can be attacked. It is an environment that the Nigerian states do not have enough capacity to monitor. If the BIVAS is going to operate in the cyberspace, which we don't have enough capacity to monitor, and is going to decide the future of this country, I am afraid what will come out of it. And let me go further to let you know that the server that the BIVAS will be communicating with has not been interrogated. I am sure that servers that will do this kind of job is supposed to be interrogated by now. And let me tell you, the server was purchased by the APC government. The BIVAS was purchased by the APC government. The chairman of INEC was appointed by the APC government. The councillors, or the what they call them, the different these are appointed by the APC government. The recs are appointed by the APC government. And Labour Party wants to go into election with the APC government. They appointed the recs, appointed the chairman, appointed the commissioners, bought the BIVAS, had the dealing with the contractor. I think I will reserve my comment about the outcome. I'm not sure. The Labour Party may have a level playing field once it comes to BIVAS. I've seen what the BIVAS has done. We have not come out to say, okay, now the BIVAS, this is how it works. Is the transmission going to be encrypted? If it is going to be encrypted, is it going to be end-to-end encryption? We don't know yet. We have not been told as Labour Party this is how it works. We only told BIVAS. A non-technical person is coming to the TV to tell us that BIVAS is the game changer. I want a technical person to come out and tell us that BIVAS is a game changer, and we'll be able to interrogate it. First of all, we'll be satisfied if INEC will let us see the BIVAS. The serial numbers of all the BIVAS that will be used in all the polling units should be given to all the parties so that we'll be able to interrogate it when we reach there. We are supposed to see a prototype of what the BIVAS looks like so that we don't use something that is not from INEC. So that our representatives can report that what they are seeing looks like BIVAS, but it's not the type given to us by INEC. So these are some of the loopholes I feel that P2B will win massively. But the operations of these machines, like is happening with Oyetola and Co., may happen to P2B. And he's contesting against an APC government that owns INEC, appoints the INEC chairman, appoints the commissioners, bought the BIVAS, has not shown us how the BIVAS works. We don't know the technical details of the BIVAS. We can only be satisfied when we sit down and look at the minute by minute, second by second image of the server. After all, they have not told us if there is going to be any incident with the server. What will they do? We are supposed to know the policy. What are they going to do with that? We don't know. With the server, if the server comes down, breaks down, what will INEC do? Will it alter the figures? Will it affect the elections?
So without, sorry to interject here. With all these concerns that you've raised regarding the ballot security, what is it that you can tell us that Labour Party is doing to mitigate all these concerns you've raised?
Yes, these concerns, some of them have been sent to INEC. We are waiting for them to invite us for interrogation of the BIVAS, interrogation of their servers. We want our representatives, our technical crew, to be present, to look at the serial numbers, to look at the minute-by-minute performance of this server, so that we can get the image copy of the server as it is operating and results are coming in. Without that, P2B's victory may be robbed. I'm not saying it's going to be robbed, may be robbed. So P2B will win massively, but the presence of APC's server, APC's BIVAS, I'm not sure what will happen.